recording. So the recording that's going to be going, this is going to have uh, the screen uh, of the council meeting notes, which you can see that I'm sharing live. If anybody cannot see those, let me know. Thank you for your comment, Nando. That's really helpful. Um, okay, so today I prepared a little bit of a talking points in order to kind of just talk through things that I've been keeping notes of that we need to discuss as a council. We're going to try to get through as much of this first today before we do any tier shifts, because we have tier shifts on the docket as well. So just to quickly run through everything we want to talk about, just quick season 16 previous season survey results and findings. We're going to talk about the draft split, specifics about the battle timer rule, trade waiver flexibility, team validation, which was a concern from last season, the ruling on whether or not we are going to introduce baton pass and body press back into the league, rookie split stuff, council and non-council positions, and then after that we're going to get right into tier shifts most likely. Okay, so anything, I'm going to be including live notes in this as well. Those are just going to be in blue text below, kind of just giving how we've resolved or what solutions we found in this discussion. So let's go ahead and start with postseason 16 survey results and findings. So we asked a few questions regarding just what people thought about last season and the structure of the season. So the first question we asked was about what they thought about the 28 player pool, which is the largest player pool we've ever had. People were pretty positive about it. I was kind of shocked by this. 15 of 21 thought it was fine. I kind of summarized it into a supporting view and a dissenting view. Oh my god, my voice is getting worse. Holy cow.
Fight through it.
I'm trying, boss. I'm trying. So, kind of summed it into a supporting view and a dissenting view. With a bit of tier balancing, the league could even expand in size. So, I had a few comments that were basically like, yeah, we could even go bigger than 28 at this point. Some people even suggested the rookie pro split. So that's kind of what we're doing in response to this season. We've just had a lot of people saying that we could give rookies their own space to play, which is what we're going to attempt to do. The dissenting view was a large number is hard to keep track of socially. It's not a competitive issue, but it's just a lot of names and faces that are hard to keep track of. So, again, that was of 6 people. That was the dissenting view.
I
Kind of summarize.
I will say it would be nice for us to have like a family tree or something, just so to like understand how we're all connected.
Yeah. I think a
That's a
good
good
solution for this season specifically is to make sure that, like, there's opportunities for people to like socialize, and I think having like designated battle nights where we all hop in Discord and like talk about like live battles that are happening, I think that's a good solution to kind of get familiar with names. Because I don't think we utilize the Discord enough, so I think that's something that I want to try to do more this season to kind of battle that. Any other thoughts?
I think it's a good idea. I think both the setting like a designated night for people to hop in Discord and talk about battles, but also the family tree is good.
Yeah, I really like the family tree idea.
Yeah. I also think that like the rookie split, it's a good opportunity for like people to become more familiar with if newer players, especially if we're like either it's like more experienced players like mentoring, or just I don't know. There's like a ton of fun ways to just like get more people involved by doing something. Like when we were at Zach's house the other day, and we were kind of joking about talking about like the betting on the rookie split or something along those lines. It doesn't necessarily need to be that, but it's an example of a way for more people to be interested in what's going on there, and then to get more familiar with newer faces.
Yeah, and we can talk a bit more about kind of what expectations I have for the rookie split, because I think it's a good opportunity for a lot of people to be involved in it without playing in it. So I'm excited to talk a bit more about that.
Is Mike Burke here?
I don't think so. No, I think he's working
Okay.
today.
Okay.
We'll just move on to keep things going. The next question was about the 10-week season format specifically. That one was unanimously popular. People like playing 10 weeks. I provided a little. I think I was the one person who said like, I prefer 7, especially from the Swiss format. But like, that doesn't take away from the fact that 10-week is still very popular and that like it's a good format. People want more games, basically. The next question was involving the division format, specifically playing certain opponents more than once in a season. This was still very popular. We did have, like, even in the supporting views, there were still people saying, like, I do miss these old formats, but, like, or I do worry about balancing, but in the same vein, like, I still enjoy it. It's just a personal preference. So, while non-division formats like Swiss keep you on your toes, divisions is the best way to keep battles competitive and fair. I yearn for the salty run back. That's kind of a summary of people's comments on that. In the dissenting view, I like playing a variety of opponents instead of the same 3 teams taking up more than half my schedule. That does cover 6 of your 10 matches if we do the division format as is. We can talk a little bit more about that in just how we structure the season. So we'll talk about that in Draft Splits Season 17, where we basically say, like, hey, who's available right now and what formats are open to us. So we'll get to that soon. Any thoughts on division format from you guys?
Nothing too crazy. I mean, I understand the view of half your schedule is 3 teams, but I also think that opens up a new door of team building and preparation that you don't get with playing a new team every week. I think that is worthwhile and brings its own enjoyment. But yeah, nothing too much.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I like them both. I think
yeah,
it's good to switch it up. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think when we introduced Swiss back then, that was like a fun, this is like a nice change of pace. I think it means that the 10-week division format is still like people like enjoy playing that. So I think we're going to keep that going for now. But I think it's important to keep in mind, like, hey, if we were not to see like a 24-man format specifically, or if we somehow like had the numbers change up, what opportunities do we have to change up the schedule structure for each season? So it's just something to keep in mind. That actually falls under improvements and comments. So that was the last question. Was do you have any like last thoughts that we should know about? And people did voice their concerns on the weight of in-division matches. I was probably one of the people that benefited from the structured division matches, where I finished 5-5, but I won my division. So I was able to make playoffs based solely off that. Whereas like some people could have really good matchups against the rest of the league, but they lose to a certain person twice or maybe even a third time in playoffs to a specific team. Like their team is very well structured to face most teams, except the one team in the division that they have to play 3 times. So that's something to think about with this format. And one comment suggested restructuring the pots, where instead of having one team from every pot in a division, you would essentially just make the divisions bigger and then have 2 players from a specific pot in one division. So it would be like, basically, to sum it up, if you did, what would it be?
For a 24-man split, you'd have 4 groups of 6 instead, right?
Yeah, you'd have 4 groups of 6, and then you would just have 3 pots. Which is what we call tiers, basically. So, like, we'd have tier 1s, tier 2s, and tier 3s. And then each division would have 6 people in it, 2 from each pot. So that's just like an example of how we could structure it. I'm not saying that this is what we have to do, but that was an idea that was suggested. What do you guys think of that?
So would you play everybody once in that scenario, or would you just play everyone twice and not play anyone from any other pots?
That's what we would have to figure out. So, based on your schedule, if you got 6 people in your division, you'd be playing 5 of them just in division, and then we'd have to figure out the rest of the schedule. So, like, of the people in your division, who would you play twice if we did that? So it's not fully thought out, but it's something that I think we could find a solution to if we like desperately wanted to play it this way.
I think it's an interesting idea, and I feel like I might have brought this up in a different form, but maybe this is something we put on the back burner for now.
That's what I'm thinking right now. I think if we can make the divisions of 4 continue to work, I would like to, but again, we'll see.
I mean, like, I think Tickle said it, right? Having some change every once in a while is nice. I think people like to see it. So maybe we could do, like, in the future, like, next split, we do that format, and then we come back to the 4 divisions and, like, rotate it so it's like a winter versus summer thing.
Yeah.
But I think it is maybe a little much to workshop at this point because, I mean, the split should be starting relatively soon, right?
Yeah, so that's probably a good... I would like to segue into Draft Split 17, but there's other stuff we need to talk about. But yeah, that's a good segue into Draft Split 17, which we'll talk about here in a second. I'm just going to go through the rest of these real quick. Team validation was a concern that was brought up. We will be talking about that later. Issuing forfeits kind of falls under that same category, which is when illegal things happen in a match, whether it's like a person plays with an illegal team or does something illegal in the match, but like accidentally brings the wrong move or brings a move that's not on the moveset. In those scenarios, before the council even discusses what to do, the 2 battlers involved should have the highest priority in deciding what should happen. And if there's a disagreement between the 2, then that's when the council gets involved. That was the suggestion.
I don't know, because if the effects of like a forfeit or something was limited to just those 2 players, that'd be fine. But like they matter for playoffs and they matter for
divisions and stuff. So yeah. That's the
Well, I
suggestion
mean,
that
like,
was brought up.
what's the option though? Like, they're just gonna restart it on their own? Because I mean, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's probably the one thing I would be okay with.
Yeah, I mean, it's either this has happened in the past too, where like somebody brought, before we were playing in Natdex draft, when we were just playing in customs, whoever had Greninja would just automatically have it in Ash Greninja form. So then people would be like, I think I brought the wrong Greninja, and then the opponent would just be like, it's okay, let's just keep playing. So that's kind of an example of the battlers. It's up to the battlers to decide. But at the same time, Quinn brings up the good point that there are playoff implications and division implications with every decision that's made. So it's trying to find a line of where the council needs to get involved and issue penalties or forfeits in that vein. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I think it's got to be taken almost like as a case by case basis, right? Because some matches are going to mean more than others, and like if the two guys are able to be like, oh yeah, let's just restart, or it's okay to keep going. You know what? Most of the time, that's probably fine. But I feel like we should hold the right to step in if we think anything weird's going on.
Yeah, like I think honest mistakes happen more often than you think. Um, at the same time, I don't want people to take advantage of that leniency with it. So that's another thing to consider.
Well, I guess another way of looking at it is there was like 2 issues with this last split, right?
Yeah. So the issues that happened last split were those were specifically team comp issues,
Yeah, that's right.
and it was illegally drafted team, and it was illegally wavered team members, and they were not caught by the council until matches occurred. So we basically had to make 2 different decisions based on based on each case. Some people have talked to me and said that we need to have a standardized ruling for each specific one. And last season we did it basically case by case basis. So that's something to also think about is do we want to have what is it? Do we want to have standardized rulings for if this person does this, it'll always result in this? Or do we still keep it kind of flexible and make decisions as a council?
I think if I'm looking at it from as if like you make a mistake in the battle or something's wrong versus like the actual team building. For team building, I think it should be standardized. And like it's like if your team is wrong, hopefully that shouldn't be a problem because we're going to spend more effort in preventing that this split. But like if it is, that should be a more like black and white result. I think for like in the case of a battle, maybe it's like if like 3 mons on your team or 2 mons on your team have fainted, it's like you can't just restart like that. Something I'm trying to think of something like that.
If the battle can't be like completely replicated or something along those lines, that's where you have to come up with a specific. All right, well, if the battle can't be replicated, or in the case of like team composition, if the team is fully illegal and there's no way to like restructure the team before the match, if there's no way to restructure it, then a certain penalty has to be put in place where it's like it has to result in a forfeit. There's no way to undo it. So there's a logic tree that could probably be formed on this. So, sorry, I'm just going to be taking notes on this as we go. Issuing forfeits. So I'm just gonna say like logic tree for now. Oh.
I think like
Yeah,
part of the reason I'm willing to be more like allow battlers to kind of decide. I don't think they should be allowed to decide like specific penalties, but like allowed to restart or forfeit.
Oh yeah, I'm saying that when we only get involved when penalties or forfeits need to be issued. It's just a matter of can the 2 players resolve this themselves, or do we need to come in if there's a disagreement on it, basically. So again, I think it is a case by case basis. I don't like having to come up with very specific rules that are in place to then say, well, if this happens, this happens. I think we can develop a sort of logic tree that makes sense for it, that we kind of use as a guide for making decisions. But I don't want to like if I don't want to like call. I don't want to. What's the word? I don't want scenarios to be categorized as something that could be completely different from another thing, and then just issue the same penalties, even though they're completely different situations.
Hey, quick question: did anyone have any issues with how we like dealt out, I guess, the penalties last split? I know, like, obviously people were upset that we didn't catch it beforehand, but like with actually how we decided how we were going to handle it, did anyone have issues with that?
I was told that the way of communicating it, and kind of the PR of how we posted about it was not preferred. Let me see if I can find the specific comment. I probably have to open a new tab. Let's do that. Let's see if I can find the exact comment. My biggest concern is about messaging and conflict of interest here. I don't actually care that forfeits are given because they are necessary. So, this is what it was. Basically, if a council member is involved in the like decision itself, like in the battle that needs to be decided, they need to be just taken out of any discussion that is made by the council. Does that make sense?
Okay, so like in the example of Python Nando last split, right? It's just Python doesn't talk at all when we talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, even specifically with what happened last season with Quinn's waiver being involved in Louis' team invalidation, Quinn would just have to not be in that discussion.
I see.
I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, the note I'm going to put for that one is subtract involved council parties from discussion. That one, I think, makes the most sense. Okay, sorry. We're going to try to keep moving because I'm spending too much time here. Playoff reseeding. This was suggested to no reseeding beyond the first round. So we did the reseeding with the 14-man playoff last season after the first round and then every round after that. The argument was that it takes away the advantage to the upper seeds to be seeded that way if it's just going to be reseeded every round. And it helps for just knowing who your opponent tree is going to be so that you can kind of prep for it that way, and especially with making waivers as well. So with that 14-man specifically, we reseeded after the... Typically, it's reseed after the first round and then don't after that. We could not reseed after that, or we just never reseed. It really depends, because like 16-man, I don't think you ever have to reseed. But 14-man, when there are buys involved, that's where I think you can definitely reseed. That's like 12-man or 14-man. When there are like given buys, that's when I think reseeding makes the most sense.
I agree.
Any other thoughts?
I mean, reseeding just for a division structure, it favors the teams that win the division, right? Because you're always going to play a worse opponent. So it just depends how much we want to reward the people for winning their division.
Correct. Yeah, and that's gonna come up as well. I guess it is the weight of in-division matches. So that'll come up when we're talking about season 17 and how we want to structure that. The last note is council elections. With this latest council election, we had 7 people on the ballot. I don't think we've ever had that many people on a single ballot before. The concern was that we should have majority voting, which means not whoever gets the most votes wins that. It's of all of the people voting, you need to have a
50%.
You have to have more than 50% or more of the vote, or more than 50% of the vote. So that means if we go to a round and a majority is not met, then we would remove people who did not get any votes, and then we would basically vote again. Now, the concern with that is the amount of times that we're voting and just like how much time that takes up. But I think that's the correct thing to do given that people want their vote to matter, but they don't know who to vote for to make it matter. So majority voting is a solution to basically meet that. So I think we can. It hasn't come up before. I mean, the first time we did multiple rounds of voting was last year when we had actual ties. Basically, if we implemented majority voting, we would be more than guaranteed to have extra rounds of voting, but it would make sure that people's votes matter and that they're not just being put on random people or people who vote for themselves but only receive one vote.
I think
yeah, what are your thoughts?
I'm in favor of majority voting. I think after the first round of voting where we remove people who didn't get any votes, we have to do it again. I think we just keep removing the least amount of votes. Whoever got the least amount of votes, they're removed from the subsequent, just to keep it going.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, what we'll do is first round of voting. If a majority is not met, remove everybody who didn't get any votes or whoever got the lowest amount of votes. If there's a tie, so let's say 3 people all got 1 vote, would we remove all people who got 1 vote in that round?
I think it would depend on how many other options are, but I'm inclined to say yes if there are at least
Okay.
2 other, 3 other.
So I'm just going to say remove lowest vote receiver each round until majority is met.
That works.
Cool. All right. That'll be a solution. I'm going to try to keep an eye on Discord as well in case anybody has any questions. Appreciate the people who have been reaching out with comments too. I forgot about that point, so I'm glad I was reminded of that. All right. Season 17. So this will run simultaneously with the rookie split, which we'll talk about later. We are aiming to draft hopefully either of the last 2 weekends of January. We need to get a survey sent out soon, and I will probably send this out this evening to hopefully start to gauge when people are free to vote. And then we'll also we'll have to do 2 separate surveys. One's going to be sent out to just rookies. One's going to be sent out just to main split folks to basically get, hey, when can you draft? It's going to be 2 separate drafts, and I want them to both be live drafts as usual. So, because I think the main push of the rookie split is to get the rookies as used to our structure as possible. So I would like to, if it has to be on Discord and just moderated that way in live time, then we'll have to do that. And I think the draft split will be done the same way. So that'll be coming out soon. Those are the 2 weekends we're going to aim for. We're going to start by sending out surveys on the 23rd, 24th. And if we have enough people that are available to do that, then we'll do it then. Otherwise, we'll just ask again for the next weekend and so on. Currently, we have 23 people who are in on Draft Split Season 17. I would like to get to 24. I don't want to go down to 22, and we might have to consider going to 20. So the situation with 24 is that in order to get to 24, we have to bring in somebody who is experienced enough to go up to that level. And I also don't want to elevate any rookies because everybody who's playing at rookie has requested to be at rookie. As far as like our returners from last season. So I guess my question is about of the rookies that we're adding in that are first timers, how experienced are any of them?
Michael Eovine plays doubles like all the time, so he's very familiar with Pokemon and like how to play. He's just isn't used to singles. So
Okay.
he's been playing Showdown over the last month. It says it's completely different, but he will likely be like a level above the rest of my friends.
Okay, I think that still is fine. That's somebody I want to be in the rookie split. I guess I'm looking for people who are experienced with draft leagues in any facet.
Arian filled out the form, right?
Arian filled out the form, yes.
Okay. I was gonna be like, well, there you go. You can grab Arian.
Yeah, I had to double
Good.
check because I wasn't sure if he did, and then I looked and I was like, oh yes, he did. Okay, good. Yeah, so basically notable sit-outs is Bobby and Nando are planning to sit out this season. So that gets us to 23 as of now. The
Oh, we
other,
could bully either one of them hard enough.
yeah,
True.
I mean, if
I
there's
mean,
23
I think
people in the league and we did a 24th, either one of them would fall.
Bobby specifically said that if we weren't doing SPL, he would be sitting out. Nando was I recently found out didn't want to play, so I think in a last ditch effort, if we cannot find anybody to fill that spot, we can just see if we can get Nando to play. The other
Yeah.
solution that Zach presented is that we could have Salvi re-enter the league and play.
Oh, okay.
From somebody who has already played in a draft league, that would be somebody we can get.
I mean, Salvi's a rookie quality candidate, honestly.
But the thing that Salvi has over anybody who's in the rookie split, other than the 3 returners, is that he has played in several draft leagues, and
I'm pretty sure
more
that
credence to
guy
that.
that's played doubles it would whoop Salvi's ass 10 out of 10 times.
What?
Jeez.
So I mean, that's realistically. I mean, I don't really care about Salvi's like 2 splits or whatever.
So yeah, something to consider. The other thing that I thought we could potentially do is, since we're currently at 23, we could find a way to cut down to 20, just 20, and like I could even see if myself or Python would sit out, and then that would get us closer to 20, and then we can get, I think, one more drop.
I would really not want to do that. Like, why are we removing people who want to play? Like,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, that's a current discussion point right now.
We'll find the last one.
We'll find the last one. If we need to solve that offline, we will. But that's currently what we need to do.
There's
as soon as I
some
hear
discussion.
anything about our 24th, I will let y'all know.
Ben, there's some discussion in the main chat for some options. Oh, it looks like someone from the winner of the plumber splits. That could be fun.
Oh, you guys were
Nando
typing in
said-
main chat. Got it. I thought you guys were. I was just gonna have you guys message me directly, but this is fine.
Let's see what education.
Oh, he said Python wants to sit out. Cal is saying that, oh, the winner of the plumber split would be great. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. Like, just
Oh.
the idea of it.
All right, yeah, Cal. Well, I'll talk to you. We can definitely set that up. Yeah, that's perfect then.
Oh, Aaron, that's a generational poll. Sorry, I'm looking
Mike
at the
Devine
main
is
chat.
also saying there's a whole league of guys who want to flex on y'all. I would love to have Mike, if you have any guys that are interested in joining for this rookie split, I think that would be fantastic. So,
I'll talk to some of those guys.
okay, sweet. Because that's numbers that we can add to the rookie split, and the more people we have for the rookie split, the better. Because the more teams drafting, the less the teams are going to be broken, which I would really like. So, yeah, we'll talk more about that. But okay, the solution we're going to move forward with is that we will have 24. So I'm going to mark that.
With Anne.
Yeah, with Cal's person. So we'll have them join. All right. That's kind of everything we needed to talk about the draft split. Was there anything else that I guess we want to talk about here about the structure? So with the 24, sorry, now I'm talking to myself basically. With the 24 men, the idea would be 6 divisions, and because there's an even split, we would do 2 conferences with 3 divisions in each, and that would basically help decide like extra matches outside of division. So we would kind of fall under that structure where you're playing your division 6 out of 10 times, and then your 4 matches are decided by. It would be easy. It would be basically everybody in your pot/tier. It would be the 2 in your conference, and then it would be the 2 on the other side of the conference. There would be no cross pot play outside of your division. So
I mean, that's pretty standard, right?
Yeah, that's standard. So, it's just the last time we did 24, it was Swiss. So the schedule structure, there was none. So, that's what we're probably gonna push forward with. I'm gonna look into what other like structures would look like, but I don't think we're gonna run with those this season. And then for a 24 man, what playoff structure do we want to do? Do we want to do a 12-man playoff where 4 teams receive byes?
It's a lot of buys.
It is a lot of buys. 12 of those does feel fine to me.
So we could do 12, or we could bump it to 14, go beyond more than half making playoffs, and then there would be 2 byes.
I think I'm against the grain here, but I'm always in favor of more people getting in the playoffs.
I just think people get disinterested when they sit there for too long not playing. So
yeah, I don't like buys, but I also don't like more than half of the league making playoffs.
So with 12 men, the first 4 seeds would get byes. So basically, even if you win your division, you're not guaranteed to get a bye. If we did, the other solution is if we did a 10-man playoff, that would be 2 byes, the 1 and the 2, and then it would go to an 8-man bracket after that.
I think I do less than 12, to be honest, because I think it's tough as a 1 seed, as a tier 1 playing all the other tier 1s. If you lose 1 or 2 division games trying to make the playoffs, like if you do less than that, then good players are just going to miss the playoffs.
Wait, you said it's 6 divisions?
With this structure, it would be 6 divisions, yeah. And because we have conferences, I think we would lock the sides of the bracket too.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
6 division winners and 6 wild cards. Isn't that just? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, of the 6 division winners, 4 of them would have to have byes, right?
Yeah, fine with that.
Okay, I feel like that's probably the good middle ground, but
Have we ever had this many players with byes before?
yes, we've done 12-man. We've done a 12-man bracket before.
Okay.
I think we haven't done it like a lot. I mean, I think the solution we've always gone with is, especially with the 16-man format, we always did a bracket of 8.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of willing to give the 4-man. It sounds like we haven't done it a ton, and I'm going to be honest, I don't remember my experience of when we done it previously. But if in my eyes, I view not this split, but the split coming to be like the big one when all the megas are dropped.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of willing to give 4 a try, and we can see how it goes and adjust as needed.
Let's give it a whirl. I think with a first round bye for teams, I think we do not implement any sort of break after the regular season.
Yes.
So no week-long break or anything like that. We just have to continue with the season. just to limit any sort of like pause in the season. So that's what I'm thinking. Okay.
That works for me.
I think that's enough on that.
And
Battle
then
time.
obviously
Go ahead.
no reseeding then, right?
So yeah, because the sides are because of conferences, the sides would remain locked on each side.
Cool.
So yeah, that would just remain the same. All right. The battle timer ruling. Okay, so this is a concern that has been brought up. Basically, the current rule on the battle timer is turning on the timer is a dick move. Don't do that. But also, we can't tell you to not turn it on. And that's not good enough. We need, in case a match actually ends because of the in-battle timer. So I'm going to talk about two timers here. The in-battle timer, because if a match were to ever end that way, we have no ruling on that. So what we're proposing is essentially two timers. So there is a real-time timer that starts as soon as the link is sent in the Discord. That, hey, we're battling. And that's the timestamp that goes with it. The battlers involved are allowed to keep a real-time timer, like, on their phone, just keeping track of 15 minutes after the link's been posted. If the battle duration has elapsed past the 15-minute timer, so basically, if that either side can keep track of that 15-minute timer, but also nobody has to turn that timer on themselves. But if a battle does go past 15 minutes, either side can turn on the in-battle timer on Pokemon Showdown. So that's the two separate timers. So there's a real-time timer and there's an in-battle timer, which is the one that is on Pokemon Showdown when you battle. Either opponent may turn it on. That's basically how the timer works in Showdown. So it's whoever turns it on first basically has the power to turn it off. The in-battle timer may only be turned on and off once by a single player. So each player in a battle has the opportunity to turn it on and then off if they would like to in a single match. Once they've turned it off, it cannot come back on. And we can talk about penalties for that as well. So, like, basically, so Cal is suggesting if I'm going very quickly and my opponent is going really slowly, they can turn the timer on after they stall for 15 minutes. I mean, again, I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, is there anyone besides Swan that this is actually an issue?
I think Mike Devine.
Yeah, Mike Devine is also
Turn on the
voiced.
timer. You guys are fucking cowards. Grow the fuck up. Just turn it on. Jesus
Yeah, maybe you
Christ.
click a little slower. You're doing some battles in your rookie league there, Mike.
Make the
Hey,
playoffs.
I want you guys to know me and the commissioner had the same regular season split. All right, 5-5 for both of us. I'm telling you, timer needs to stay on. I've seen too many Brendan Tickle hour-long matches,
All right.
and I've
Someone
only been in
mute
this league for
guy.
one.
Mute this guy.
All right. We're just going to continue because I think Mike has gotten his point across. Basically what we're suggesting with this timer is that once it's turned on, it can be turned off by that same player. Once it is turned off, that player cannot turn on the timer again. And this goes for both players. So, like, if one player does it and then turns off the timer, they can't turn it on again. But the other player can turn on the timer if it gets to that point in the match, basically. If the in-battle timer runs out for either player, the match is over and the KDs are locked at that board state. So if the winner by timer was losing in differential at that point in the match, they would be credited with a win to their record and a minus differential, basically. So if they were losing, if they had 2 Pokemon and their opponent had 5 Pokemon, they would be credited with a win on their record, but they would have a -3 differential. And then the KDs, specifically for league leaders of those Pokemon, would be locked. So Cal is saying, wording on this needs to be clear that these are optional rules and neither player needs to use the timer. Yes, I mean, that's the basis of this, is that the timer does not need to be turned on by either party. But after 15 minutes, if they feel like the battle's taking much longer than it needs to, or they are on a time crunch, this is an opportunity for them to speed up the battle. So that's what I'm proposing here. I also think playing with the timer from the beginning is not the right solution. What I think I'd like to discuss more on is 15 minutes too much time, or do we need to like lower that time?
I was thinking about that. Go ahead.
I've heard anywhere from like 10 to 15 minutes. So the reason 15 is that gives people time to like get the links sent out, basically analyze turn 1 or the team preview, and then that's enough time to like get going with a little bit of insurance.
Yeah, I like the 15 minutes. I think that's enough. I think that's a good amount of time.
Okay. So 15-minute seems good. Any other thoughts on that?
I just think it's dumb overall. Like, just play the fucking match. You signed up for the league.
I agree with that to an extent.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, is when people are deciding when the best time is to battle, I hope you're not like trying to schedule, I've got a half hour or less to get this battle in. And like sometimes that's all you have, and I get it. But I don't know. I just encourage people to find the best time to battle, and if like extensions are needed, I would take an extension over having to like fit a battle into a window that doesn't seem necessary.
Or if like I'm taking too long, write in the chat, "Hey fucker, go faster." Like I'll probably click.
Yeah, and like I think that's a better solution. Devin had a good point. Long matches are fine. Long turns suck. So I feel like that's something that occasionally happens in battles, which is people are like, "Oh, this is a very pivotal turn in the battle. Give me a sec to like run a couple calcs and make sure that I'm making the best decision here." And I think that's fine in moderation, but when it repeatedly happens, where it's like I'm waiting 2 minutes for my more than a minute each turn for my opponent to make a move, that's where I would feel inclined to like, put them on a bit of a timer, speed up the process here, because it's affecting my decision in what move I'm clicking the longer my opponent takes. And I'd rather just have my moves clicked. I don't know. What are other thoughts here?
I mean, I feel like if you're taking the time to make a team up, and then you get rushed for your moves, like I don't think that's fair. Like I rather just be allowed to have as much time as you want to make your moves. Like I never had an issue with anyone when I played them where it was like you're taking too long to move.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in the same vein. Like, we're here to play the game. I'd rather play the highest quality game that we can play. I mean, like, even if you take fucking forever, it's not going to be, a game's not going to be an hour or anything.
So the majority of people in the league will probably never turn on the timer or experience a match where they're playing with a timer from their opponent. But this is a rule that is put in place for the people who do want a timer on the battle. And this way we actually have a ruling on, okay, if the battle results in somebody winning by timer, this is what is going to happen. The other point is if a player is experiencing poor internet connection or like an IRL emergency, I think the only thing to basically be implemented there is you're both adults, and if like you guys are having bad connections, like just be courteous to your opponent. Like I don't think you need to run the timer there. I think the people who want to run the timer are understanding of the fact that, like, yeah, this is something that they're dealing with, and I have to just, get through it. There's nothing I can do about this. So, I don't know. I don't know if we want to add any specific ruling on, okay, if this person is actually experiencing bad connection, or they're like, hey, I have to step away for a second. Then
I think we're giving that we're even putting this as part of the rules. I just completely disagree with. Like, if there's really that big of an issue, like, we should handle it on the spot. Like, if Swan wants to cry about someone taking too long, then whatever. But like, the game should not end because the timer runs out.
And just to clarify, the rookie split will have the same rules as the main split. Again, the timer is not required. Nobody ever has to turn this on. This is if you feel inclined to run the timer against your opponent, these are the rules that are in place for it. So that's kind of what we're going with here.
Are they in place? Are we going to vote on this as a council? Like, I think there's at least 3 of us who are not in favor of this.
So you're not in favor of any timer being in place?
No, fuck the timer.
Okay.
Dude, if I take 30 minutes to make a team and I lose because some asshole's turning the timer on, I'm going to be pissed and probably not want to play anymore.
Okay, so then that's something that has to be basically voted on then. Okay, so the 2 points then that would be made is that we either run this 15-minute timer, 15-minute IRL timer, and then the in-battle timer can be turned on after. That's 1 point. The second point is no timer at all.
I think we should have a hard and fast rule to fall back on, but at the same time, I don't ever want to see a timer, period. So I would double it. I would say 30 minutes after the start of the battle.
30 minutes after?
Yeah. How do my other timer dissenters feel about that?
Okay, so I guess the vote we have to have first is there going to be any timer, or is there going to be no timer? That's basically what needs to be cited. If we can negotiate on how much time there is, but again, I don't think there should be. I'm trying to think of a battle that has gone that long because of one person. Usually battles that go that long are happening because of the 2 players intentionally taking that long. You know what I mean?
The only battle I can remember is my second battle ever against Mike. I got into a spot where he had his Toxapex left, and I had a Sleep Rest Suicune. And we went to like turn 200 or something. It was a fucking hour and 10-minute battle. But like, we were constantly clicking moves. Unless you get something crazy like that, a battle should not be going over 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think I do think like putting this in the rules kind of like makes it a problem more than it is. But so like instead of thinking of like, do we have a vote on the timer or not? I think it's like, do we vote no timer or like 30 minutes, which seems to be the suggestion.
I mean, like Tyler said, battles shouldn't be going over 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't be a problem. I don't want to ever see the timer, but like if the battle goes over 30 minutes, then people have that option. I think that makes sense.
I'd be fine with that because at that point, I guess if it's over 30 minutes, something has gone wrong.
Yeah, well, yeah, you might have fucking something else to do with your life or something.
Yep, that's fine.
All right,
Colby, what do you think?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
All right, so I guess we're voting on if the 30. We're basically voting on a 30-minute real timer, and then these are the plans in place. Cal is suggesting turns, not minutes.
No, he's
Where's
Because some turns can be very fast.
Oh, sorry. He's talking about something else. He's talking about something different discussion. Never mind. Okay, so I'm gonna change this to 30 minute
How 30?
30 minute real time timer. If the battle goes past the 30 minutes of when the link was posted, that is when in battle timer can be used by either side. And again, this happens. No battle should be going past this point, but that is when the timer can be turned on. Are we all in favor of that?
Yes.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
Huh.
I'm going to lock that in. Ah! The pen icon. Okay. 30-minute timer, real-time timer. Then, in battle, rules apply. Okay. Okay, we're gonna move on from that. Next is trade waiver flexibility. Basically, the concern from last season, what the current rule currently states that we implemented, is that 2 waivers can be made by one team in a single week, but one team cannot complete both a trade and waivers in the same week. Now, there's never been a limit to trades, but there's always been a limit of 5 waivers in a season, including playoffs. That's what we ran last year. The proposal is to separate waivers from trades entirely, basically. So they would occur simultaneously and occur separately. A single team could theoretically make 2 waivers and a trade in a single week, as long as like the team is legal by the end of it. All of those can happen. Does that make sense? That's what we're proposing.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think because then you can change like your whole team in one week. Right?
So, yeah, you can trade. You can waive basically 2 Pokemon, but
And then
that's,
trade 2.
I guess that's a good question.
So yeah, that I guess that's something to consider. Basically, like what we're trying to encourage is people to trade.
I mean, trades barely ever happen, right?
Yeah.
Trades
I made 2 last week.
Trades happened a fair amount last season. I think we had like 2 or 3 happen. They obviously
That was like
don't
the first.
they obviously don't happen at the same rate as waivers.
I mean, if you can find someone willing to trade with you, I think it's fine. Like it's
Just treat the waivers and the trades the same, so that way if you use a trade that uses a waiver slot.
So that's another thing to consider, is that if we just combined, if they fell under the same definition, then a trade would count as one of your 5 acquisitions, basically.
Trades have always been so hard to make happen that we just let them be free in the past, and I'm kind of still okay with that. Why?
I
Is
agree.
there any reason that we wouldn't be?
I mean,
you're saying that's too much. You're too much ability to switch up your whole team at once, or
Maybe if we put like a weekly cap on it, like you can only make 1 trade a week, but because I think to Colby's point, you could make like a few trades in 1 week, do the double waiver, and suddenly you have a whole new team. But
dude, if you could convince multiple teams to trade with you in a week, honestly, good for you.
Wait. Are the trades going to count towards your waivers though, or no? Is it a separate?
That's
so
what we
it's-
have. That's what we have to decide.
in the past they have not.
Yeah, trades have never counted towards your waivers. And
Really?
Yes, that's what we did last season. That's what we've always done, actually.
Dude, like trades happen so infrequently. Like I don't think we need to regulate them.
Yeah.
So the question is,
like, if we wanted to limit trades to 1 a week. On top, wait, I forget about the waiver rule. Are we waivering, or we can waiver as many as we want, or up to 2 in 1 week now?
what we implemented last season was that you can make 2 waivers in a single week, and that was basically the solution to, instead of having to drop something 1 week and then pick something up the next week, you'd be able to basically make the drop in 1 week. It still counts as two of your waivers, but you'd basically be able to make that like swap from I want to like get rid of a BL so that for an RU so that I have space to like turn an OUB into an OUA basically.
And you can only do it once a split.
Only do what?
You can only do the double waiver once a split.
No, you're able to make the double waivers are fine. It's just if you have to have space to do it. So like if you
I thought it was that we only allowed that once though.
no.
I mean, you only have 5 waivers, so you could technically only do it twice. Like,
Yeah. Maybe I'm just misremembering. I think this proposal came though because if you made a trade, you weren't able to make waivers that same week.
Correct. The ability to make a trade, the making of any waiver made it so that you could not make a trade in that same week. Basically, what we're motioning to do is make it so that you can make a waiver and a trade in the same week. The question is, how many are you able to do the 2 waivers at the same time that you do a trade? That's basically what we're trying to figure out.
I'm not saying this is like a perfect solution, but I'm kind of inclined to just keep it the way it was. I think like 5 waivers, including playoffs, to me isn't like a ton, and that's by design, and I don't have an issue with that. And so I think the way it was last split was a pretty effective system.
Yeah, like it's probably the most freeing we've been with the waiver system.
I agree.
We've just had people request to have the ability to make a trade and a waiver in the same week, which people thought they could last season, but the double waiver rules expressly said that you could only make a waiver or a trade in a week. So Cal's suggesting max 2 acquisitions in a week and 5 total acquisitions. So basically, if you were to make a trade, you could not do 2 waivers, but you could do 1 waiver. That's something that's also being proposed. What do we think of that?
Or 2 trades.
I
Which
think
I
I
think-
would
Or
want
2
one.
trades, sure.
2 trades.
Yeah.
I agree. Max 2 acquisitions in a week. I want to call it 5 total waivers and not count trades.
I agree with that.
I agree.
I mean, trades count as an acquisition, but it doesn't count against your waivers. Max 2 in a week.
I think that makes the most sense. Yeah.
Cool.
Works for me.
Okay, if we're all good there.
For the trade deadline, should we just do what we did last split, where it was like after week 9 you can't make the double waiver?
So yeah, that was the question. Is trade deadline basically makes it regardless of whether or not. So do we want to have it based on whether or not you're mathematically eliminated, that whether or not you can make a trade, or should we set just a hard trade deadline for everybody?
I think just hard trade deadline.
Okay, and then what week would that occur?
I think week 9. I think that's or week 8, but I don't want it too close to the end of the split.
So
end of the
basically
split.
the last time you can make a trade is week 8, essentially.
That works for me.
So week 8. Okay.
Sure.
Max 2 acquisitions per week. 5 total, including playoff. All right, and then trade deadline, week 8. Week 8 is last week to make trades. Okay. Team validation. Okay, so this was a concern that was mentioned last season. Several instances of illegal teams last season, whether or not they were drafted or waived for. We did not have auto validation in this last season. The hope is that we can get an auto validator again to just basically point out the stuff that we miss. Again, I was one person basically looking at all of the waivers, and I realized that is not enough eyes. So basically it's going to be a council-wide effort each week to just make sure that after the waivers are submitted, that all teams are legal. So this still puts essentially a weight on the players to submit legal waivers themselves. But this also makes it so that they're not going into battles with illegal teams. So if they were to make a waiver that is illegal, and I just somehow missed it and wasn't able to inform them that it was illegal, and they didn't have time to make a new waiver, then they just wouldn't get that waiver, basically. This would make it so that I'm going to post these. I'm going to post the waivers for the week. If the team ends up being illegal, then they just wouldn't be able to get that waiver. But I will do everything I can to make sure that if they submit an illegal waiver, that they have time to make an alternate waiver, because that's what the precedent has been in the past. Now, basically what the council-wide effort would be is that after the waivers are submitted and the teams are updated, I just need extra eyes to double check that everything's legal, which is every team has at least one from every tier, and that they're under budget.
So I think we have all the rosters out and all the Pokemon names. I think we should have like how much they cost in each next to the name, so it's easier to check to see. So you don't have to look up every individual Pokemon to see if it's legal or not.
If you go to the team page, folks, it has that.
Well, no,
Has that?
what he's presenting actually makes sense. Like on the draft board itself, when the Pokemon gets typed in, just have the tier right next to it.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, I think that's something we can implement and have Bobby make sure is on the draft board as we're making the draft.
That'll be helpful in draft too, because I can't tell you the number of times someone's like, "Oh, that got moved up." Like, I'm not gonna budget.
Yeah, so I think that's a great suggestion. I'm gonna see if we can get Bobby to implement that, but yeah,
we just need to get Bobby to make the legality spreadsheet again. Like on past iterations of the sheet, there's been a tab that has just automatically calculated your point totals and like told you if you were going to make an illegal draft that you could like look at in mid-draft. Like, I think really the only holdup the last couple of years is, Bobby's got a life and other shit to do, so he just didn't have it put together in time for, like, draft days.
Right.
But if we start hounding him far enough out, we should be able to get that in place.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the big thing. If we can have the auto-validation in, I would prefer that. But I think we still should manually check to make sure teams are legal throughout the season as well. So we're going to do everything we can to automize it, but that doesn't take away what our responsibility is to make sure that teams are still legal, because anything could be missed where like tier shifts are implemented wrong, so like something is still listed at a specific tier. So I'm going to try to lead an effort to be more cognizant of teams being illegal so that we don't have any issues of people entering battles with illegal teams.
I think Nando's going to have more time on his hands. He could probably check for us each week, right?
Right.
Everybody
right.
DM Nando.
But yeah, and I even
I got
discussed...
nothing better to do.
True. That's where I was kind of saying, like, okay, this doesn't need to be just a council thing either. We could have designated people just, like, not on the council do the validations. So if it means I need to just send them a quick shot of the waivers, hey, these are all the waivers this week. Double check that these are also, like, legal. So that it's just not me looking at it and somebody else has a chance to look at it as well.
Yeah, Ben, I'll definitely help more this split.
Okay, cool. I think if the council leads that effort, we can also have designated folks not playing or not participating help out as well. So that seems to be a good solution. I just figured we should talk about that briefly. Okay.
Cal just mentioned something that could be helpful.
Thoughts on a Discord bot where you send your waiver and it tells you if it's illegal? Permanent solution I can implement by end of summer. If you could work on that and that was like fully functional, even if it just means we have to test it, and it's not like the deciding factor, I think it would be really cool to have something like that built in. So, Cal, we can talk more about that, but I think that's a good thing to work towards. Okay. We'll move on from that. I just wanted to discuss that real quick, but I don't think anything needs to be written as resolved. But basically, we're going to handle it. We're going to be on top of it. All is good. All right, so the next two talking points are baton pass and body press. I think I have baton pass listed first, but I'm going to talk about body press first. Basically, the comments. So on the commissioner vote, I also included questions on what people thought about body press and baton pass being introduced into the league. People gave some comments. Of the 12 people that responded on body press, 10 were basically just hard, just keep it banned. There were some additional comments that were basically saying like, here, I'll even pull them up just to list them off. Let's see. I usually wouldn't mind unbanning it, but I've seen the kinds of players we have. Body press requires the mass retooling of at least 40 plus Pokemon, many of which will have to jump multiple tiers due to how much better they become. The added benefit of the move is simply not worth it. Stays banned, only limited Pokemon gets set up plus body press. Leaving it banned opens up creative building strategies.
I mean, you could do body press with no defense too. I mean,
So that
Do a
would be a
complex
solution of a complex ban, which is basically what we're discussing with baton pass. I think with body press specifically, I would rather just not touch it, and that again
Just keep it banned.
That just comes down to the
Agreed.
discussion of all right, what has to be retiered, and we could sit down and do that, but it's just a matter of whether or not we want to do that. We have
Keep
a
it
list
banned.
in the tier shifts, but again,
I'm pro keep it banned as
I am gonna vote to keep it banned as well.
Okay, it's banned. That's 3.
All right, and it's included on the tier shifts as well. So like we'll type that out when we get there. But the resolution is body press will remain banned. All right, with baton pass, this was pretty mixed. Basically, what we're proposing is that baton pass would be available to be used again. You can dry pass, so any stats. You cannot pass any stats or buffs such as like substitute, increased crit rate, or any like positive speed or positive stats. Those cannot be passed via baton pass. If you were to pass anything that was placed on you, so if you if you're a contrary Pokemon and you enter the field with sticky webs and you get a speed boost, you would technically be allowed to baton pass that, right? I don't know what contrary Pokemon get baton pass, but again, that's something you could do. Basically, it's if you don't have a move or like, you basically have to trigger it with a move yourself. That's what it would have to be. Does that make sense?
Or another way to look at it is your opponent gave you that boost. You didn't give it to.
Correct. The opponent gave you the boost.
You'd have to phrase it like self-inflicted to rule out like berries and stuff.
Yep.
Self-inflicted, yes. Self-induced, so berries like Salic berries or lychee berry, yes, those are other good points. Yeah, that's what it would qualify as. I'm going to pull up some of the comments on Baton Pass from the commissioner vote. Keep it banned. Dry passing is a nightmare. At least one person will fuck it up if it's allowed, and it's going to be dumb drama like Team Legality last season. I don't think it's going to be a nightmare because, again, if they mess it up, that's just going to result in a match forfeit because you brought a set that was essentially illegal and did it in match. Some people also suggested that like we would have to like validate the team. That it would just cause more validation for people. And I don't think it would mean we'd have to validate teams or anything like that. It's just if you do the thing in match, like you can bring a set that raises your speed and then baton passes, but if you do it, that's what's going to get you forfeited. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Some people said get creative and use other solutions like eject pack. I did it very successfully last season. Not every mon should inherently have momentum. Teleport already exists.
It sounds like Colby.
Fuck baton
That
pass.
was not me. That was not me.
Fuck baton pass, but the list is only about 10 things that have real consequence, so I'm cool. Dry passing is fun. It's no different from teleport or U-turn functionally and can lead to unique strategies. I don't like making more Pokemon being able to easily pivot. Makes the Pokemon that can currently pivot not as useful if a ton of more Pokemon can do it.
Most of the Pokemon that get Baton Pass also already have U-turn or Volt Switch and Flip Turns.
Basically the two mons that I had in mind with this is that a Pokemon like Hitmontop that likes being able to Baton Pass out or slow turn would benefit from this.
Yeah.
Umbreon is another one where
I mean,
can slow Wish Pass.
yeah.
So
the evolutions are the ones that get a huge boost, I think, and then maybe Florges is the other one off the top of my head.
Again, it's something that doesn't get teleport
Florges
and
get it?
is able to be slow and slower than the opponent and switch out. That's the benefit of Baton Pass.
I think being a fast Baton Passer is not necessarily bad either, because like if someone happens to switch, you still get a free, like you do it after the fact. So if you got
that's what I'm saying. It's like it's very inconsequential, and it gives Pokemon that wouldn't have that the ability to do that. I think that should be fine. My stance on this is that we should allow this form of Baton Pass, but what other thoughts? I don't know if we want to go to the vote, but what other thoughts?
I think
Would we
I'm
ha-
against it just because I don't like complex bans or the amount of re-tiering that might result from this. I think, and also
do you really think there's going to be that much retiering? I don't think there's that many mons that get Baton Pass that don't already have flip ability.
I don't know. I do think there's a sizable amount, and I also think there's like I kind of agree with that one comment where like there's to an extent there's just enough momentum users out there where I don't think we need to add Baton Pass just so other things can get that.
Okay.
What tier are we going to be verifying teams in this year?
It's going to be in Natdex draft.
Natdex draft. Okay. I'm just going to look at the baton passers.
Yeah. Again, the evolutions are a good point. Hitmontop was brought to my attention, where it's like if that Pokemon got Baton Pass, I don't know if we would essentially move it up, but it would have to be discussed.
Well, Florges too has a ton of. I think has a decent amount of HP, so you can wish and then baton pass out and heal someone else.
Wish Baton Passers are absolutely a thing too. Yes, I think you could qualify pretty much any Wish Baton Passer, and if we were to vote this in, I think we could, as a council, take a look at what could be discussed because of Baton Pass being allowed again. So that is if there's any.
I'd rather just keep it banned so it doesn't not another complex rule, and then you would have to retier like a handful of Pokemon if you do have it.
Yeah,
Guys,
so
Alomomola.
Alomomola just flip turns.
Ugh.
I don't even think it gets Baton Pass, does it?
There really aren't. Yeah, it doesn't.
I'm searching Natdex by baton pass and it came up.
Do you really want to give Tylo more pivot moves? Is the question. Do you really want that?
Absolutely not.
I am
Yeah, no, I'm fine with just keeping it banned.
Okay, I'm voting for it to be allowed. So I'm in that camp. What are the final votes?
I would
think
agree.
it's banned.
Colby wants
I
it
would
banned.
vote banned.
Quinn banned. Tickle?
Yeah, I'm fine with ban as well.
Okay. So, Baton Pass will remain banned. Cannot be used in any facet. Both will remain banned. No discussion needs to be had about that in tier shifts. Okay. I'll skip the rookie split real quick because I just want to talk about council and non-council positions. This is like a really minor thing, but basically, we have no official description of like what the council and the council's duties are. Same for commissioner, other than like I'm basically in charge of waivers and just like leading stuff. This is something we should probably discuss offline at some point, but basically we need to draft just official descriptions of council positions, and then also like the implementation the implementation of non-council positions as well, and just like what those roles would look like. Specifically, I've been talking with Mike Burke, and he has a vested interest in the rookie split and just being involved with like league operations. So I wanted to propose just having him essentially act as like rookie split commissioner, and basically lead waivers and like keeping track of any concerns or like questions that the rookies have, just to give kind of not basically like a junior role to like gain experience in being in a council of some sort. Is that something y'all are cool with?
Works for me.
Cool. Yeah, so I'll be having a chat with Mike sometime this week just to go over kind of what that role will look like and what responsibilities he wants to work with, and then at the same time just like discussing like how involved I will be or not be in the rookie split as well. But so we'll be talking more about that. I'll keep you guys updated on what that'll look like. We talked a little bit about offering responsibility to team validation to non-council members that are invested in that, so we'll just talked about that enough. Basically, the council will do what they can, and then I don't know if we want to add official positions for non-council members, especially if it's like a specific split where like somebody who's not playing in the split could have some role. Again, we'll talk about that more, but basically it's just something to keep in mind. If we ever get official descriptions written up, I will draft those and send them to you guys to approve, and then that'll just be in our rule book, which I will have to also make updates to based on decisions we've made about waivers and trades. So it'll be updated. Okay, last thing is the rookie split. We'll run simultaneous with the season 17 draft. We'll have it separate. We'll have a separate draft date and time, because I would like those to both exist at separate times. It will be a live draft. I initially was thinking about doing like a soft draft where it's just submit your draft picks through Discord, and then it can go like more than a day or two to get those in. I realized that that was not the correct thing to do, because the whole point is to get the rookies up to speed with how we draft, which is always doing a live draft. So that's what we will be doing. This rookie split is a focus on mentorship and development. The purpose is to have players who want to learn the format, not be in the same conferences or scheduling as players that have been playing for literally 10 years now. This is an opportunity for those players to essentially play within their skill set, their skill level, while also introducing people who are brand new to the format and giving them the mentorship and like guidance they need in learning the format. So I don't want to assign like specific mentors to each player, but like obviously they're people, they have connections with people through the league, so it's just a matter of making sure that they have some sort of help in the season. And if the main contact of that new person wants to ask somebody who isn't mentoring anybody to mentor, then that can be done. So just like I'm available to help with everybody. So if there's any point that those new players need it, I will. We can. Me and the council will be available to like be in those mentorship roles if necessary. We have 10 confirmed right now. We have, as returners, we have Mike Devine, Louis Sheeran, Brendan T. Porton. And the new players are 7 players, which is Ethan Cheffer, Mickey Jovine, Gabby Turcott, John McCollum, Grant Kokel, Dustin, I already forgot his last name, Dustin and Max Schnabel. Those are the new 7 players. They've all filled out the interest survey, and they've basically confirmed through either people just, hey, are you still good to play in this? So I think we're good to push forward with 10. I do want to talk with Mike Devine about potentially adding maybe 2 more players from his other league of friends that he participates in, to see if we can get to 12, because I think the more the merrier. So that's something that we can implement too. One already filled it out. Okay, perfect. So if we can get 1 more and get it up to 12, I would love to run a 12-man season. If it were a 10-man, we have done a 10-man season before, where we basically did 2 conferences of 5, and you played everybody in your conference once, and then you played 2 from the other division that are just randomly assigned, or the 2 from the other conference. And then if we did 12, it would be, you could do 4 divisions of 3. I don't want to do that. I would rather just do 2 major conferences of 6 and just make sure that everybody's battling as many people as possible. The one question is, do we want to run with 7 weeks or 10 weeks, depending on the number of players?
Give them as many battles as possible.
Okay. We can propose. Yeah, we can propose both a 10-week and a 7-week format, and then see which one makes the most sense. I think if we can get 10 weeks, we should absolutely try to. But also I realized that if they're new to the format, 7 weeks can be plenty to take in at once, and it also kind of leaves them feeling hungry afterwards too. So, yeah, we'll kind of work out the specifics on that. We're kind of waiting to see. I guess we can just assume that we'll be at 12. So I'm gonna say 12 most likely. If we did 12, would we do an 8-man playoff, or would we do 6-man with 2 buys?
Maybe that's a question for you and Mike, but just chiming in now, I feel like as many as possible for rookie makes sense.
To make playoffs, I think 8 going to playoffs would make the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
If we did 10, if we ended up with 10 people, that would have to be a 6-man. But if with 12, I think 8 makes sense for playoffs. Because again, it's giving as many people the opportunity to be in the postseason. That makes sense. And then also no buys as well, so it helps. All right, I'm gonna put that in 8-man player playoff. Okay. Is there any other comments or thoughts we had on just this rookie split? Anybody else?
None from me.
My one question is, say at the end of this split, all 12 of them are like, hey, I want to be in the main split next time. Is that just something we're going to deal with then, or is there a plan for where these people go after?
I think that's what we're trying to determine right now. Based on what people said in the the interest survey, it's people are open to the idea of playing beyond 28 players, and that's a bridge that we would have to cross. Where it's okay if we did play with like a 32 player split. What would that look like? Would we have to restructure how many Pokemon you draft, or I hope that at some point we have new megas added and we have maybe Gen 10 on the horizon. Mike Devine also suggests, and this has been brought up before him too, that there would be a higher league and a lower league. I've had a lot of people come out and be very negative about that idea of relegating players because I think it would.
It would cause a lot of drama, probably.
It would cause a lot of unnecessary drama, and at the end of the day, we are. It puts a lot of weight on matches that are meant to just be fun. And
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're playing with our friends, right? Like,
yeah, the only thing that's
we all
really
want to
on
be
the
in the same
line-
league.
Yeah, the only thing that's on the line is like a couple trophies. You know what I mean? And then like, it's not meant to be something that relegates you or like puts someone down. And it puts a lot of weight on matches throughout the season that typically don't matter, especially if it's like not involving playoffs. But I don't want that pressure to be put on, so I don't want relegation to be there. But I think we could explore what a 30 or 32 player pool would look like. And we'd also have to gauge based off of how many are brand new that would want to continue playing. And that's kind of where we would go from there. But yeah, that's a discussion for another time. I don't want to dabble with what could be or what could happen if we don't know what those numbers will be yet. But it's something to think about. And if you do have any ideas that you think of, please just let me know or post in the council chat and we can talk more about it. That's all I have for this tab, and we're at 11:56 now. So I think for the sake of not doing all the tier shifts in one go, I think we're gonna schedule the tier shifts for another day, if that's all right with y'all.
Yeah, it's fine by me.
All right, cool.
When would you guys like to do that?
Yeah, I mean, we can schedule that now. I am free all day Friday until 9 p.m. So if we want to have a discussion at any point during the day, that works for me. I know I don't think it works for everybody, but Tick,
Yeah,
does that work with your schedule as well?
I can't do the second, but
Can't do the second? Okay. Colby, you mentioned that you're going to be going out of town from the 4th to the 12th. Is there any days on that trip that you would be available to like step away and be on your laptop or something like that?
he'll be in Europe, so
Okay, so that would be tough to plan time zone wise.
What about Thursday night?
yeah, like right around midnight, right?
Thursday the 1st?
Oh, is that the
Oh, yeah,
first?
that's the first.
All right, that's what I thought. Okay.
Thursday the 1st, I'm busy from, 7:30 until maybe about 11. I will be toasted after my commitment, but yes.
7:30 a.m. 7:30 p.m.
I'm also free pretty much all day of Thursday as well before 7:30 p.m. Would people be available that day at all?
Yeah, I think for me, just assume that I'll probably be able to make it, and then the rest of you, it's whatever works for you guys.
You said Thursday the 1st?
Thursday the 1st. Any time availability that day, because the tier shift should take maybe an hour or an hour and a half at most.
I work at 3:00, so I could do.
Do we wanna try a morning or maybe like noon?
Yeah, I'd lean probably more towards the noon, just because I don't imagine I'll be up pretty early.
Yeah, I've got to work from fucking 3 p.m. until 4 a.m. So I'm not waking up any earlier than noon.
Let's do noon then. Okay.
3 p.m. till 4 a.m.
All right. So we're gonna aim for. Here, I'm just gonna put this at the bottom. Next meeting. Noon, January 1st. Tier shifts. All right. Thank you guys for meeting with this, and thank you everybody else for joining with your comments as well. It's been much appreciated. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the C-SPAN Council. I have a recording of this. It is going to be posted in some format to the correct place, so that'll be coming out sometime soon. I might even just do like a privated YouTube video so that you guys have access to that. But deep sigh before much appreciated. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording here.